word of power. Ja. Sy nie groot nie, wat is jou goeters? Ek dink ons lyk so klein teenoor hom. He guides, maintains the universe by his mighty word of power. Ek sal sê hy in Openbaring, en hoor net hoe mooi het Johannes hom gesien. Openbaring 1 vers 12 sê, Then I turned to see the voice that was speaking to me. Vers 13, And in the midst of the lampstand, one like a son of man, clothed with a robe which reached to his feet, and with a girdle of gold about his breast. His head and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes flashed like a flame of fire. His feet glowed like burnished bright bronze, as it is refined in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of many waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and from his mouth there came forth a sharp two-edged sword, and his face was like the sun shining in full power at the midday. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as if dead. But he laid his right hand on me and said, Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. His face was like the sun, shining in full power. He is so very great that you can't even behold him. Wie van julle het al gebid of net gesing, en as jy so die Here dien, en dan voel jy net, alles in die kamer verander. O nee, wag, nou moet nie nou my verskyn, hy is te groot. Wie van julle het al so gevoel? Want ek hom nog nie eers gesien nie. Dis so groot hy is, ons sê dat Here, ek wil die sien, hoekom? Maar ek dink ons sal so groot skrik, ons sal neerval soos hierdie ou. Wie is regtig hierdie God? Hy laat die see bruis, man, hy laat gras groei, het ons net nou gehoor. Hy hou alles in stand, hy maintain, uphold, dit is hy. Hy is die eerste en die laaste, die begin en die einde, alles draai om die son, alles draai om hom. En hier kom hy en sy gesig skyn soos die son. En ek wil begin met wat ek vir julle weer wil deel, met hierso, in Exodus, daai Israeliete. En ek wil hê jy moet onthou, het gaan oor hom te ken. Hierdie boom van lewe, ons moet net daar gaan sit. Net bietjie rustig raak, want is die woord van God vandag, raak rustig, en weet net ek is God. Baie dink ons sing, wees stil en weet ek is die Heer, en ons sing het so. Baie keer in die Bybel, as jy gaan kyk van die begin tot die einde, het hy eintlik vir hulle gesê, hey, hou nou op worry, hou nou op met dit, moenie so ongelowig wees nie, kyk ek is met jou, wees nou stil. Sê vir hierdie gedagtes en sê vir die kop, be still and know that I'm God. Hey, ek's groter, ek's goed, my gesig skyn soos die son. Ja. En nou kom ons hier in Exodus 14, en die Here stuur vir Moses as a redeemer, to go and redeem his nation, because they were in hardships and trouble, en het hard gewerk, hy was erg onder 'n las, en dit was nie God se wil gewees nie. En hier kom ons in Exodus 14, en die Here sê vir Moses, kom Moses, dis tyd om te gaan. Hulle pak al die goed, hulle trek uit Egipte uit, en hier lei die Here. En ek wil ons moet hier moet ons nou opvang wat gebeur. Want die Egiptenare het God nie geken nie. Want as hulle hom geken het, het dan na sy stem geluister wat deur Moses gepraat het. Tot op 'n punt het hy plaag gestuur en alles, maar sy hart was verhard. Farao se hart was verhard, hy het net nie geluister nie. En wat gebeur? Op die einde van die dag verloor sy eersgeborene. En toe sit net te erg. En toe kom God en hy lei hulle uit. Nou kom ons gaan van vers 10 af. Is almal met my, julle kan dit onthou, waar die Rooi See oopgemaak het. Nou sê hy so, when Pharaoh drew near, the Israelites looked up, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and the Israelites were exceedingly frightened and cried out to the Lord. So hier kom Moses, hy lei die mense uit. En die Israeliete begin sien, maar wat? Ons dog het gaan nou maklik wees, ons dog ons gaan na die land toe. Kyk nou, hier kom hulle, ag nee, hulle is dadelik bang, hulle begin huil, Here. Maar die Here het ons nou iemand gestuur, en hy het ons nou gesê, hy gaan hulle uitvat. Hulle ken nog nie hulle God nie, want later die hoofstukke sal julle sien, hoe het hulle gemurmureer, en hoe het hulle aangehou, en daar is nie water nie, daar is nie brood nie, en so aangegaan. Maar kyk wat gebeur in vers 15. The Lord said to Moses, because Moses knew God, he saw him face to face. He spoke with God many times. En die Here sê vir hom, to Moses, "Why do you cry to me? Tell the people of Israel to go forward." Hou nou op met hierdie gemoun en gewonder en gedink en frightened en ons moet nou jaag, hier kom hulle, wat gaan ons nou doen? Go forward. Weet wie ek is. En hy begin vir Moses te leer, en hy begin hom sterk te maak, vir hom te wys met elke tree gaan ek met jou wees. Vers 21, Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back. Who? The Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. How great is our God? Who can do that? No man. And the Israelites went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, the waters being a wall to them, on their right hand and on their left hand. Sien julle die prentjie? Dis al wat ek wil hê. Hier word die see 2 mure langs jou en daar's 'n pad. Geen mens kan dit doen nie. So, the Egyptians drowned in the midst of the sea. Verse 28, And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them, but the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Exodus 15. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord, saying, I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider, or its chariot, has he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and my song, and he has become my salvation. This is my God, and I will praise him, my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his host has he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also are sunk in the Red Sea. The floods cover them. They sank in depths like a stone. Your right hand, O Lord, is glorious in power. Your right hand, O Lord, shatters the enemy. In the greatness of your majesty, you overthrow those rising against you. You send forth your fury. It consumes them like stubble. With the blast of your nostrils, the waters piled up. Hoe groot is ons God? With the blast of your nostrils, the waters piled up. The flood stood fixed in a heap. The deeps congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide. My desire shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. You, Lord, blew with your wind. The sea covered them. They sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like you, glorious in holiness, awesome in splendor, doing wonders? You stretch out your hand, the earths swallow them. You in your mercy and loving kindness have led forth the people whom you have redeemed. You have guided them in your strength to your holy habitation. So here the Israelites, here Moses, because of what God has done, showing us his glory, his power, his strength, he's with us. Here suddenly they sing about his greatness and his goodness because they realized how big is this God, how good is this Jesus. His face is shining like the sun. He just calls a breath and stuff happens. And look what happened to the other people who saw all of this. Verse 14, the peoples have heard of it. They tremble. Pangs have taken hold on the inhabitants of Philistia. Verse 16, terror and dread fall upon them. Because of the greatness of your arm, they are as still as a stone. Ewe skielik word hulle stil. Niks meer woorde nie. Wil nie agter hulle aanjaag nie. Be still and know that I am God. Selfs your enemies, selfs those that try to attack you, when they see God's greatness in your life and the things that God is doing for you because you know him and you commit yourself to him, they'll become quiet. They will become still and because it's God's doing. They'll even see you. They'll see him. And that's what it's all about. It's not even about us. even in our successes and the great things we achieve, it's nothing. Because it's Him doing it. It's Jesus doing it. It's all about knowing Him. For yourself, for your enemies. Let's go to Daniel 6. And this just amazes me, the greatness of God. There's one lady, Annalise, she always says that you will never see or know what God can do with someone totally committed to Him. If you are totally committed to God, you will see what great things God will do to you, and for you, and with you. So kom ons begin hier by Daniel 6. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdoms 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Now here it starts getting interesting. So the king commanded a few kings and princes in places, but then Daniel was first. Now look what he did here. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. So what happens? God lifts Daniel. Because who is with Daniel? God. God lifts Daniel because of his working. There was an excellent spirit in him. There was an excellent God with him. And God lifted him and set him above all those leaders. Okay? Now look what happens in verse 4. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. So wat doen hulle? Hulle maak 'n plan. Hulle is jaloers. Dis presies hoe die duiwel werk. Hy gebruik mense because there's an excellent spirit in you, because God is giving you favor. The devil will come and try and attack you. But if you can realize when he attacks you, or try to bring you down through people, try to steal from you, everything is maybe going confused. If you can just realize that, like you're going to see now with Daniel, he realized who was God. He realized that God already won for him. God placed him there in the first place. So if God doesn't want him there, God will almost take him away. So, what happens? Let's just look how awesome this is. The devil is such a liar, and he will use things to destroy you and put you down in life. But if you can realize he has become your salvation, he's your strength, he's everything. You don't even need to fight. Just look what Daniel did. These people just go on. And in verse 5, then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. So daar wil gaan die ding waarvoor hy die liefste is, die ding wat hom daar sit, en dis God, hy wil iets kry by die Here, net soos die Fariseërs. Jy mag nie genees op hierdie Sondag nie. As jy regtig die seun van God is, always the plan of God, Satan will try to kill in your life and destroy and push the life out of it. The plan that God has for you, great plans he has for you. Just like with Daniel, favor, to prosper, to bless you. And here comes the enemy working through people. Verse 6, then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdoms, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Nou as ek die koning was, ek so gesit en gesê, hoe wil dit nou doen? Wat gaan nou met julle aan? But they had a plan. They wanted to destroy him. And you can't believe it, that this king had seen a lot of things already. He even asked Daniel for wisdom when he had dreams. He saw them in the fiery furnace. And he saw how his own men was burned down. And here he comes and he can't even